Been a little bit, so I decided to shoot a video today. Don't really have anything else going on. Everything's been going well for me. My last two calls, JAGX and CRCW, both did 150 to 200%, something in that range. I was able to get in and get out, not at the top of JAGX. I was a little bit salty when I sold 11 and it ran to 20, but I didn't double dip. I just walked away. I didn't, and guess what? It's right back at my average. So it was a good trade all in all. It just took a few days to really realize that. Then CRCW, I actually sold CRCW to get into JAGX and then got out of JAGX and got into CRCW the day it started to run. I got in at 15, 16, 17, 18 and sold like 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and that's it. So I almost sold the top of that. That netted me 20K last week. So I had an incredible week last week. This week I'm up about 2 grand, so nothing spectacular, but still headed in the right direction. Now that I'm able to day trade, now that I have a significant amount of capital, this is when moves can be made. Now, the thing is I haven't been loading penny stocks as heavy unless they have liquidity. Like I bought CJAC today, IGBK. They're ones that I'm going to be going over in today's video because they have the liquidity. But when I used to get up to near 100K before, I would start putting 50 grand into these low liquidity penny stocks, and that's how I would lose my ass. Because if you don't catch a bid and you get in at the wrong time and you're not careful and you kill yourself with size, let's say something bad comes out and you got to dump, that shit could be down 50% before you can even liquidate. And that's, when you have 50, you can't lose 20 grand. If you make 20 grand one week, you can't lose 20 grand the next week. That's why you just have to keep it on a steady incline. It's not going to go up 20 grand every week, but as long as you're not losing money, over time, that thing is going to grow. So I'm safe now. I'm diversified. I'm not overly invested. I'm not all in. I've been buying a lot of small cap stocks between $1 and $3, getting in and getting out. My one mistake today, which, oh man, it was close. I bought EJOX yesterday, EGOX at 8. And I had my sell today at 10.7 and it hit 10.42. And before I knew it, it was back down to my average. So that kind of sucks. But we'll go over that as well. Sometimes you're going to miss things by a tick or two, but at least I didn't chase it at 10 and now I'm down a couple grand, so sometimes you're going to miss things, but it's better to miss them, miss the gain than to chase and now have to be worried and hopeful that price is going to go back to your average. That's a bad place to be in. We'll see what happens with that one, but that's pretty much all I have to say. I guess the lesson today would be if you don't go too heavy into penny stocks with low liquidity, because it can really bite you in the ass if something unforeseen comes out. So we're going to jump into the charts. That's my cat. He never shuts the fuck up, especially at 4 a.m. But that's not a bad thing because I have to get up early anyway to watch the market. It's been a lot of stress. Yes, I've made over 20 grand the past 2 weeks, but yes, I've been hooked on a screen 24/7. It takes obsession. You have to be paying attention 24/7. You want to make money. You want to do this as a profession, not a hobby. You're going to have to stare at a screen all day, every day. That's it. That's the way it is. eBet, this is just an example. I'll just go over this real quick. When it broke down outside of this, I actually waited for it to get that pushback. I didn't sell these down drafts because I'm not an idiot. I waited for it to come back up to this, and I said, you know what? I'm out. And I took my huge gain. It didn't get to where I thought it would go, but that's another thing is when something starts to turn down, when it gives you the signal that it's breaking the wedge to the downside, stay calm, wait for it to return to that part of the wedge and dump it. And don't think twice because if other people are going to, if you don't, People, this is what people are trading on. If it had stayed bullish, then you hold it. If it dumps, then you got to say, you know what? It's not going to 50. Time to take it at 30. Be happy with what you have. Maybe you didn't sell the top, but at least you made a significant gain. If I had still been holding that, I'd be almost back down to my average, and it would be 3 weeks past, and I wouldn't have made the gains that I made in JAGX and other stocks. So that's the importance of just letting go. Realizing that the gain isn't as high as you think it's going to be, and say, okay, I'm happy with what I have. It's making adjustments, just like football teams make adjustments at halftime. In the market, you got to make adjustments 24/7. That's why you can't just follow somebody on Twitter, because they're making adjustments. And if you're just following what they're doing, maybe they're not going to post that they sold. What have you? Just get out. Just get in, get out. Not working, get out. Working, hold a little bit, get out. Constantly sell the stock, and you will steadily rise in capital. That's eBet is still going through this court case. God only knows how long it's going to take, but until it gets bullish again, which it could, then I don't even know. I'm not even really paying attention to it at this point. I've already used it. I've already abused it. And now I've moved on to a bunch of different things. Let's go with GVSI, because this was one that I was in, and again, didn't like it, saw that people were selling it. Oh, mommy, I didn't even notice this is what happened. But see, when I was in here, I got out at like 9.5, okay? I was in at like maybe 8.7, and I said, you know what, 9.5 is fine. I don't need it. It just seems like it's weakening here. It doesn't seem like many people are going to buy this with, the expected news that's going to come out. This thing could really tank. And today, it looks like somebody sold a bunch all the way down to 1. I don't know if that was a fat finger trade, meaning like you couldn't really get shares there. If you did, good for you, because it immediately went up like 600% from that drop. But again, I don't know. I wasn't watching the tape at that time, but that kind of tells you and gives you, listen, if you're in this stock, I hope the best for you. Okay. I really do. But again, this is the importance of noticing weakness, saying, you know what? It's not going to get to 1.5 where I thought it was going to go. I better seal in this small gain here before I lose my ass. And if I hadn't, I would be hopeful as shit that this was going to go back up. And to me, this is a precursor of what's to come. And I do think that the deal is going to get extended, or it's going to fall through. And if that's the case, it's going back to dub 1. I don't know what else to tell you. Okay. I'm sorry. I know I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm just going off of what the chart is telling me. Unless this guy comes out with like blockbuster out of this world news, yeah, I mean, again, this might be a sign of what's to come. IGPK. Let's get into the ones I'm bullish on. Actually, let's do CJAC first. I mean, look, I think I'm going to pay really close attention to this one, but I did buy 10 million, a little over 10 million at 9 today. When it was up here, I told myself, okay, like this thing tends to do the same thing, every one of these movements. So it goes up, it pulls back, it goes up, it pulls back, it goes up, it pulls back. Now let's look at our Bollinger Bands here. I don't pay for this, so I got to take something out. Let's take out MACD, because I don't even like the look of that MACD. Let's get Bollinger Bands up. Chunky. What are you doing? Yeah, I mean, you're sitting right on this Bollinger Band. 9, or no, it's a 10. We got to hold this level, but I think it's going to. I think I actually made a really good trade today, because I literally said, if this thing comes back down to 9, it's a no-brainer for me to at least take it. Because if I have to sell out 8, there's a big bid on 8. Now we have a bid on 9 that's overtaken the ask at 1. If it does what it usually does, which is have this sell off down to this line and then run, we could be looking at 18. Because, you see this, obviously it has higher highs every time it has this low. So to me, I think I made because I can still make the decision tomorrow to probably sell some at 9 if all hell breaks loose. But with Bitcoin running, this being Bitcoin related, I waited for nines. I didn't chase 11. I didn't chase 10. I didn't chase 12. In fact, luckily I remembered this today because I was like, let me pull that up. And if nine's on the ask, I'm going to start buying. And nine was on the ask. I'm like, okay, I know that this is a good price. I know this has little downside and greater upside with Bitcoin running and the fact that, this guy just tweeted something, blah, blah, blah. So as of now, it was a very good buy. If this thing pushes up to 12 tomorrow, I'm up $3,000 and I can decide, okay, is it weakening? Can I get out at 11 and make 2 grand in a day? Maybe that's what I do, stick and move. Or maybe this thing is showing some decent volume to the upside and maybe it can break out and get to 18, which is, I think, like will be the final push. I think it's going to push to 18 to 2, and then that might be it for the meantime. But for me, that's 100% gain. So I'll play it by ear. Very little downside, good chance at upside here. If you can get some nines, I would probably say to do so. As far as like the inner depths of the DD, don't care. As long as it's Bitcoin related, that's fine for me. IGPK. This was when I was bearish on for a while, and obviously I said to everybody, I said once it gets bullish, then I'll get in. It's like that simple. I'm not gonna like hold it. The 6-9 drop was a perfect buy-in, but at that point, I wasn't sure if this thing was going to tank to 0. Now that there was a restricted share thing, they were returned to restricted off of unrestricted. That was a kind of like a catalyst in a way. And now there's a date of March 28th. So if I can get a pullback in this tomorrow, hold on, let me pull this up. I don't know why it always does that. No, I don't want that. I want it here. Yeah, okay, so this thing, look, this is what I originally put here. Once it broke this trend, I was like, it was right to not enter because look, it came up and went down. Now it got above this middle band and it wants to run again. Your RSI is heating up. This has a lot of liquidity. If it comes back down anywhere near, like if tomorrow there's a pullback down to, let's say, 0.0105, I will load. I only took a starter, 500,000 shares around 12.4. So chances are this might get a little bit of a pullback or it could just break out. It's at resistance. So if tomorrow, if it like pushes above 13 with some strength, I can see this easily getting to 2. If it gets to 2, I'll get out immediately and I'll try and buy back into 13 because remember the date that they're looking forward to for Catalyst is March 28th. It's the 12th. That's 2 weeks away. These things are very fickle. It's not going to just run all the way in, unless it's a slow creep. I don't think it's going to run all the way into the 28th. I think you're going to get an explosion. You're going to get a blow up to around 2. You're going to get a pullback to 13, and then you might get a trickle back up. It's into that date. So for me, I'm going to play it accordingly. Hopefully this is working. If it's not, I'll probably kill myself. So yeah, so it looks really good. Now it looks good. As you can see, let me just show you real quick. This is what got me, and I was watching it all day, but I just needed to see this. I needed to see this. But as you can see, I was watching, I was like, damn, this is getting really close to wanting to break out. And then I kind of did chase it, but at the same time, I only took a starter. 500,000 shares to me is not a lot. I can deal with that $1,000 to the downside to reload more. I'd be very happy if this thing pulled back tomorrow morning. I will buy more. IGPK breaking out now, very, very bullish with momentum, with volume, with an upcoming catalyst, with something that came out today that was bullish. This is what you wait for. You wait for the chart to tell you what's going to happen. You don't buy in here because you never know. Now I know. Okay. IGPK looking really good for the weeks to come. What else? Let's look at JAGX. Because this could be getting back to a buy zone here. No. Nah, maybe not. What else do we got on here? What else am I holding? Back when I was at like 18,000, 10,000, I was going all in on things. Once you get up to where I'm at now, you got to diversify because you don't want to be all in on something that tanks like because it's going to be an issue. Oh yeah, Sonex. Okay. Why? I don't want the IGPK thing. Take this off. Okay, there. Okay, the reason why I bought this is because when it tends, I mean, first of all, it was down way too much. It's just too fast of a drop. Down 40 some percent. Last time it did this was right here when it hit this bottom of the what's it called? Bollinger Bands, and then it bounced right back up. It went from 11 to 16 2 days later. That's a 50% gain. For me, I had been watching this for a while and I was like, oh, this looks like it's taking off, but I never bought it because I'd rather get in now. I bought in at 10. I got like 75,000 shares at 10. Could have got a little bit lower, but whatever. I do think that this is going to see so whatever they're diluting, I think it might even gap up tomorrow. It closed right around my average. I do think that this sees a pushback to at least 14. At least 14. I'm making 750 a penny. I'm only looking for 2,000, 3,000 bucks here. If I can get in today and out tomorrow at 14, 13, I'm going to do it. Because again, when you get these drops, you might get a pop, but then it might continue down. So in and out, I'm happy with my 75,000. I'm not saying that you can't long hold this forever and it goes to 70 cents. Fine. I'm just in on a big drop. Might have been an overreaction coupled with dilution. I think that they're going to let this breathe. And then if they do have more shares to dump, they will. But Sonex for now, 10's looking pretty good. Probably sell 9 if I have to. Take the $750 loss if it doesn't show like it's going to do a little bit of a bouncy bounce. Remember, I don't care about what I know it's like a dental thing and the earnings came out and blah, blah. It doesn't matter. I don't care about any of that and I never will. And if you do, you might be in trouble. Fless, that's another one that I picked up today. This one. I really like this one because not only I mean, look, this thing runs. It's got a really small float, like 12 million are held at DTC, which is basically the float. That's like nothing. I mean, look at this. From last time it ran, it went from 285 to 15 in 2 days. This thing can really move. And given the fact that yesterday yesterday it went from 3 to 6. And then I had an opportunity to get 3 again. They are diluting, but people are saying the dilution's almost up. People that have been in the stock a little bit longer than me, I'm choosing to trust them. And I did a little bit of DD on this just to make sure. Once the dilution is done, I give it another couple days. I'll just keep keep continuing to load at this price point. Downside maybe 2. I have 250,000 shares. I will continue to accumulate because when this thing goes, those 250,000 shares could be up at 8. I mean, this thing could easily get to this. It could easily double. That's why I'm loading here. Easily double. This thing can move on air. Love it. I guess that's it. Is that everything I have? I have eJOCs, but it's just not showing a lot of love right now. BFRI was another one that I traded that was really good. That one looks like it's still hot. LMFA was another one. I've basically just been like, I've been doing pretty freaking good. I picked up T9. Where's that at now? Yeah, I mean, I picked it up a small starter at 180. That might get some movement tomorrow. But yeah, is that my whole portfolio pretty much? Yeah, right now I'm holding CJAC, CGAC, EJOX, FLES, IGPK, SONX, and TNON. About 10K in each except for TNON, or around there. So, my portfolio is looking really good. So far this year, I've realized about $45,000, which is absolutely incredible with us only in March. I just need to, the count's been going like this, just gradually higher and higher. And I have times, weeks where I'm just like, what the hell is going on? But I just keep fighting, not taking huge losses. My losses are smaller than my gains. I'm mitigating my risk very, very well. I'm trading like a pro would, where not over expecting things, not having too high of expectations, not having greed when it's just not working, getting out, taking a small loss, and just moving around consistently. That's why it's hard for me to kind of call things out on Twitter. But please, for the love of God, follow me on Twitter and repost this video. That's all I ask. That's all I want, because I'm banned on StockTwits for good. I'm banned on iHub for 2.5 years. I just restarted at Twitter, went from 600 followers all the way down to 17. None of my shit is even getting noticed. It sucks. It sucks to be somebody that knows the truth, but it is what it is. So just all I ask is just share this video, please. That's it. It takes 2 seconds. If you're in one of these stocks, it's only going to help you. Share it on iHub, share it on StockTwits, share it on whatever, Twitter, anything, please, for the love of Christ Jesus and heaven. The Lord is above us. So that's it for today. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you got an idea of something that you might want to buy, or if you're already in, maybe gave you a little bit of, I don't want to say hope, but everything I've been doing has looked pretty good. Okay, one other thing before we go is Rev B. This is just an example. I don't know where it is after hours. Yeah, it's not doing shit. Again, I got in at like 315 average. It went up to 390 pre-market the other day. I didn't sell up there. I noticed a lot of selling at 340. I'm like, doesn't this have a catalyst tomorrow? Why is there a lot of selling? There was a lot of selling, and I said, you know what? It's just not working. And maybe it's not 540, which is where my sell was. Maybe I had to make an adjustment and only make $1,000 instead of $10,000. But if I hadn't, the price would have went all the way down to 294 today. I would have been locked in on that cash. That would have been a lot. I had $25,000 in it at one point. I would have been holding that cash down $5,000-$6,000, pissed at myself for not listening to my gut. And that's how quickly it can happen on these thin stocks. That's why if you're holding a lot of shares, just, be willing to make that adjustment. So until next video, hopefully you enjoyed it and have a good rest of your weekend. I haven't eaten all day. I'm doing the Nomad diet. I've been doing it for about a week now. It's not that bad, but like right now at 347, I start to get a little bit, I'm just like, I'm going to eat, my hand. All right. Talk soon.